The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in me now. The peace of...
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Lisa Natoli. I'm so happy to be here. It's Friday morning, A Course in Miracles. Woohoo! And I'm very grateful that we're live in person every Friday morning at 10:30 a.m. And it's amazing to me also that we're live stream because I've been traveling and I meet people everywhere and they say this is their Course in Miracles group. So that's like amazing. I say the first time it happened was this woman, Sean, in Florida, and I asked her to meet on Friday morning. She said, oh, that's when my Course in Miracles groups meet at 10:30. I was like, that's weird. Our group is at 10:30 on Friday mornings. And she said, no, my group is your group. And so it's just incredible. There's about 500 people right now that watch this Friday morning class. And so it's really an amazing community. And it's a place of celebration, and that's what I like about this. It's not like a normal Course in Miracles group. It really is a place to get activated with the principles that are in the book, that you start to live them, and a place of really just meeting others. You know, there's so many connections that can be made here. So today I'm going to talk about healing. We're going to do some practices, which I'm very excited about. And as we begin, I'm going to invite the beautiful and gorgeous Diane Crosser up here because I really love, come on up. And what we've been doing here, Bill Free, so let me give an update. Bill is in the hospital right now. I love you, baby. He's in Newburyport right now. He had knee surgery yesterday, and you would never know he had knee surgery from the way he's showing up. Of course, the spinal blocker is going to wear off today, so today might be a little bit of a different day. But yesterday he was like, wow, I don't feel anything. So he's watching, and he's down there in the hospital if anybody wants to visit him. He loves flowers. And what we've been doing is this book from Cafe Gratitude. It's a place in California, and they have this practice called Sacred Commerce. And what it is really they want that to be a place of total gratitude and forgiveness and healing. So as part of everyone's shift, for the servers, the managers, the cooks, you punch in on your time clock and you have a half an hour of sacred clearing. So you work with another person to clear anything that's blocking you before you begin your shift, and that way you can really show up in service when the customers start to come in. So we have this book, and it has it's like a daily calendar, and Diane's going to lead us in the daily saying and a little bit of a meditation.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, we are meditating with Cafe Gratitude today. So November 4th, the little invocation is God speaks to all individuals through what happens to them moment by moment. And so the question to bring into the meditation is, whose beauty overwhelms you? Whose beauty overwhelms you? So if everyone would just close your eyes, get into that sacred space, right in the center where your heart is. Breathe in peace and breathe out love. Whose beauty overwhelms you? I am the divine love of God. I see God in all things. When I see God in all things, the beauty that I see reflects back to me. Here in New England, we see beautiful colors on the trees. God's perfect creation dwells in me. I am God's perfect creation. Amen, and so it is.
So I would like to welcome anyone who's here with us for the first time. Please raise your hand. And this is Pam, everyone. She just joined Living in Purpose. She's from Manchester, and she's heard about this group, and she said she's been receiving messages for a long time to come here. So we're so happy to have you here. And for everyone on live stream, for the first time that you're here, we welcome you. And I'd like to say about the live stream is if you click the little button to go over onto YouTube from our website, you're able to enter into the chat room. And it's just amazing. People from around the world are here with us, so I just welcome you. And are there any announcements that we have in this room? Yes, David?
I just had a message from the woman in South Africa to this group. Would you like me to read it? Okay. Should I come up or what?
So the woman in South Africa is Irene Tompkinson.
She's in midair right now. Let me just come up because I know that I've been communicating with Rosie, who's the connection that was made from this group, who watches this group. So I want to read her message to this group, which is pretty amazing to me. Blows me away, actually. Let me go up to... Okay. Oh. All right. Hi, Rosie. Rosie here. Salutations, greetings, and much love from me for so lovingly lending us your beautiful wife for nearly a month. We know it really is that she is about her father's business. So who wants to argue with that? I most urgently, oh no, that's, oh, this is about the flight. Oh, I can't seem to find it here. Anyway, she had a message for all of you. Oh, when exactly? Oh, does she? All right, I don't know where it is. Hold on a second. Never mind.
You'll find it.
I'll find it. Anyway, Rosie sends her love to this group. She's here, present with us from South Africa. And we know that someday she's going to be coming along with others and sitting right here.
Awesome.
They want to do that.
That is so great. Yay. Yes, thank you, Irene. And that's one of the things with this group that we love is the activation. And this is something I'm going to talk about today, where you're not sitting just anymore as a participant or bystander on the sidelines. You're actually going to start to step in and begin your ministry. You begin becoming a healer, a miracle worker, a light worker. And what's great about this group is there's people watching. There's people out there who are watching this. And Irene was invited to South Africa because she stood up here one day and just expressed the love from her heart of wanting to be in service. And now she's in South Africa for a month. So it's amazing. And Maggie, you had something?
I just think it's very important for Becky, that's usually part of our group, that's Bonnie's sister. Her other partner, Jerry, has been rushed to Mass General and had major surgery. So we're needing a lot of energy and prayers for both of them right now.
Yes. She's grateful for all. Yeah. Grateful for all.
Right.
Yes. So, and one other one is Alexa Henson. She's also in Living in Purpose. She went in for heart surgery yesterday, open heart surgery. So there's some things happening with just a lot of activity. And what I love is there is this joining in the prayer. Like the prayer works, prayer heals, and that love that we're holding everyone in the highest truth of what they are is so important. And then reaching out to them also, not just standing back, but if you have a feeling to reach out to anybody, just that you do it. So now we're going to greet each other in love. So this is a time where we stand and we greet each other in love and with a hug, a namaste, and I see you. I see you, Frank. Okay, so welcome. So today I'm going to talk about healing, and we're going to do a healing exercise because you can heal anything. And this is a thought that's been coming to me for 5 years consistently. And it's been a question that has been driving everything that I do. And the question is, how is healing accomplished? And I don't know how that came to me. And I know that it's in A Course in Miracles, and the question is answered in A Course in Miracles. But there's been something in me that wants to know, but really, how is healing accomplished? Like, I know what the book says about it, but how do we heal consistently every single time? And the world hasn't yet sort of reached that stage of certainty yet where we know we can heal ourselves. And to me, it's like so many things that have always been present, but that it took certain individuals to step forth and experiment with the ideas, like to get an airplane off the ground and all the science things that are happening now. And so the scientists themselves and the doctors even are beginning to step forth and say, yes, everything is mind. That the body is nothing more than a representation or a reflection or a mirror of the thoughts that you've been holding about yourself. And this is what Jesus says in A Course in Miracles, that it's don't try to heal the body's the symptom. It's the effect of a cause. And so what we're going to do today is we're actually going to diagnose. I'm going to pass out some cards. I ask everybody who's watching live stream to have a notebook or some paper. Welcome. Is this your mother? Oh, welcome. So nice to have you here. Oh. Well, you came on a very special day. This is a healing ceremony. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do some bold things, and I've never done this before. Today on Unity Online Radio is what I consider my boldest radio show I've ever done. I recorded it a few days ago. It's going to play today at 3 p.m. Eastern, and it's called You Can Heal Anything. And it's been an interesting journey for me because I have often felt I can't heal, I don't know how to heal, I'm a total fraud as a teacher because I don't see consistent results. And yet there's something in me that's been pushing and driving me every day. If you saw my notebooks, I write every single morning, and I have quiet time with Jesus, and I'm just allowing myself to just write. Just come into that space. And it goes all over the map, you know. It's got things in there that are just whatever's going on in my life at the moment. But not trying to fix anything. Like, this is just my process, you know. And it's called Morning Pages, what I do. It's based on Julia Cameron. It's where you write 3 longhand pages. And what she said was when you first start doing this kind of a practice, it's like you're dumping all the junk at first. So she's like, don't edit yourself. Nobody's going to read this notebook. It's for you only. So I'm dumping. Like, I feel this, so-and-so did this, you know, blah, blah, blah. But then if you keep writing without judging yourself, something starts to come through. And this is exactly what happens in the practice of sitting quietly. And we often don't give ourselves any space whatsoever to sit quietly. So if you've ever sat in meditation, so you don't have to do morning pages or journal, whatever's coming to you to do, you will notice that at first you might feel extreme discomfort. You might think nothing's happening and you're only thinking thoughts about people and places and things. But if you sit there long enough, something begins to happen where something does start to come through. And so last week I was in California with Linda Leland, and Bill was also in California, but he went to a different workshop, which was 30 miles away, with this guy named Rupert Spira. If anybody has seen that video, Bill and Amy Torres did an amazing interview with this guy. He's a non-dual teacher. That's on the Teachers of God website. But Linda and I went to this 4-day event with my teacher, who's Brendan Burchard. And he is one of the #1 trainers in the area of leadership and teaching people how to influence other people, how to step into their purpose. And so Linda and I were there, and it was just an amazing time. And it's called Experts Academy. So you're discovering what you're an expert at. And a thing that I've always felt is that I'm a healer. And I've never dared to tell anybody that, because I don't know how healing is accomplished. So it keeps coming to me, how is it accomplished? How do you heal? How do you teach others to heal? Because I really do believe that's what Jesus is asking us in A Course in Miracles, in the whole psychotherapy handbook. And so in the same way that there are coaches right now who train other people to be coaches, or therapists teaching others to be therapists, you go to college for this. You know, you can learn techniques that others have learned them themselves from others. And so first you have to be healed yourself, and then we can begin to teach others how to heal. Like, I've noticed one of the biggest questions that is coming up in the Living in Purpose group is, how do you work with others? How do we stand still when someone's in their story? How do we help them? So it's like something's arising now in everyone that's saying, okay, how do I show up in the world now? How do I listen? What do I say? How do I help someone to find their center again? So last week when I was at this conference, everyone's passing out their business cards, and I felt I have the dumbest business card ever. And at first I loved my business card when I made it. And it's a picture from my website of me, and it's this joyous, happy photo of me in Namaste. And that's the whole front of the card. And on the back of the card, it says, "Your Holiness blesses the world." And that's it. And so I'm at this conference with all these experts, and I'm thinking, oh, this card is just dumb. I need new business cards. Well, that's the like the egoic thought that comes in, and I didn't pass my business cards out. So this one woman heard me speak. So we kept breaking up into groups of 5 or 4, and the exercise was to write a love letter to your audience, a letter of appreciation to your audience. So we wrote this long letter, and we got into groups of 5, and I read my letter, and everybody in the group was like, oh my God, who are you? Can I get your card? Oh my God. And so I gave this woman my card, and that was the end of it. And the next morning, I was just downstairs, nobody was around me, and she came running up to me, and she's just in so much gratitude, and she said, oh my God, your business card. It was like a message from God. I got chills right now. I got back to my room. I'm going through my business cards. I get to yours, that picture of you blessing me. And when I turned that card around and read, "Your Holiness blesses the world," it was like totally complete healing. I just want to thank you for that. And I said, oh my God, that's funny, because I was going to make new business cards. I thought they're stupid. She goes, oh my God. She said, you need to step into what you're doing. And I still didn't have the words. I'm like, oh, I'm a minister, I'm an author, I teach A Course in Miracles. And in that moment, I said to her, I'm a healer. And when it came out of my mouth, I thought, and somebody had told me, I was on a Hay House cruise last summer, and the president of Hay House was listening to what I do, and he said to me, Reed Tracy, you're a healer. Say it. I couldn't say it. He said, just say it. I said, I'm a healer. And I felt like I'm not, though. That I'm not. I don't know how to heal. I don't heal. The Holy Spirit heals. And he was saying, no, I want you to say it. I want you to start stepping forward and say it. And so this woman, I said, I'm a healer. And I was so present in the moment. So I said, and she'd been expressing a few things about some pain she was experiencing. So I said to her, what's tell me what's going on in your words so I can hear. And she started to tell me what she's doing to heal. I said, no, that's the how. I want to hear in your words what is just going on. Don't be spiritual about it. Just tell me the symptoms. And I feel that often what happens, especially in people on a spiritual path, is they do something that I call spiritual bypassing. I don't even know if it's a term, but spiritual bypassing is when you have something that's going on in your thoughts or you're feeling something, but instead of like just saying what it is, you put a spiritual term on it, I'm not a body, and you bypass it. So you don't actually go in and heal it. You just go around it. Well, if you do that, it's still there. It's still there running the show in your thought system. So more and more, I'm feeling like I really want to work with people. I want people to know how healing is accomplished. I want you to see it. I want me to see it. And so you actually have to just be human for a while to say, I feel sick. I feel tired. Because often people will say, oh, I'm not sick, I'm not a body. No, let's do this work. Let's actually find out what is running the show in your thought system. Because sickness is nothing more than an imbalance. You have forgotten who you are. And you've been living off balanced for long enough that it begins to manifest as a physical symptom. And the physical symptom is nothing more than a message. It's just a message. So often what we do is we try to fix the symptom and you miss the message. But the message is speaking to us. It's saying, hey, listen. And so what I did with this woman, I said, no, just tell me what's going on. She said, I have pain in my back and my legs hurt and I have very little energy. I said, okay, good. So I was just listening, I was so present. And I said, well, often the back has to do with support and the legs have to do with not being grounded. And this is all just basic chakra stuff. Like anybody, if you looked at just basic chakra stuff, like to locate where you think the pain is in the body. And again, spiritual bypassing will go, the pain's not in the body because I'm not a body. The pain's in my mind. I'm healing the mind. Spiritual bypassing. You got to go in and you got to say, it hurts here. Where does it hurt? It hurts here. It hurts here. It hurts in my back. Because then you can work with it. So I said, do you feel you have enough support in your life? She was like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. She goes, I don't feel like I have any support. I feel like I'm constantly giving. And so I said, okay, so now I want you to know you are supported. You are surrounded by so much love and you're supported. And the grounding, the legs, like to be here in the world, to be so present in your experience. And I said to her, that back pain is going to go away. You're going to feel, by tomorrow, you're going to feel less of that back pain. And for a moment I thought, how can you say that? How do I know that? But I said it. I just said it and I didn't qualify it. I didn't apologize for it. I just said it. And she was like, you are going places and she took me right up to the front. She's like, okay, you're sitting next to me. And I talked to her this week, and she said to me, I can't believe the things you said to me. It was so spot on. And that's all I said to her. I said maybe 3 sentences. And she said, the certainty of you saying that to me, I just felt it. I felt like, yes, the back pain is going to go away. And she woke up the next morning, and she said, it was still there a little, but she said it was like gone. The back pain was gone. And now, so I was inviting her I said to her, now you're going to write your own treatment plan, and that's what we're going to do right now. So I needed her to diagnose herself, and I just helped her a little. I needed for her to first identify the symptoms, and then, because the symptoms are going to tell you a message. They're telling you something. Everything's trying to get through to us. And then you're going to look at the cause. Not the cause of what the effect is, but the cause. And I'm going to work you guys through this step by step. And then what you're going to do is you're going to write your own treatment plan for health and happiness. Because what Jesus says, and I know this is true, is that within you is the inner physician. He calls it that. He calls it the inner therapist. He calls it the inner guide. He calls it your teacher. Well, this is the Holy Spirit. So what I love about A Course in Miracles is that he uses many terms for the same thing. So the Holy Spirit might sound too religious for you, maybe. Even Jesus might sound too religious for you, but it's not a person or a personality. It's simply the wholeness of you. That's what the inner physician is. It's the spirit, the wholeness that knows no fear, knows no lack. So it's a journey inward. But what we do here in the world, because we haven't been taught that, we look outside of ourselves. We go to the doctor, we go to other people, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to start to realize you already know exactly what's going on with you, but you haven't taken time to listen. The mind is so frantically moving that it's constantly saying, okay, I feel sick. And boom, you're on the internet looking outside of yourself for something to fix the effect. But what you need to do is get quiet and look at what's the cause of this. And Jesus is very clear. The cause of all sickness is a belief in separation. That's like overview for everyone here, for any single thing that you think is going on for you. But then we're going to start, and Jesus even says in A Course in Miracles, now we're going to work with the specifics. We're going to actually work with the specifics of whatever you think is happening to you. So if you can pass these out, everyone take 2 or 3. Does everybody have a pen? Yesterday, Bill, I was talking to him in the hospital, and he said to me, he said, "You're so bold and centered lately." And then he said, he got this look of absolute perplexity on his face. He said, "I think you don't even know where you're going with this." I said, "That's it." That is it. I don't even know, like, what I'm doing. And I often will say, I could be totally wrong about this. But Bill's saying, like, lately, you've been saying stuff that is so spot on and intuitive. And so the thing that I want to ask you all is to begin to trust in what's coming to you. Like, even if you feel you're making it up and it feels off, I want you to just really start to trust in what's coming through you. And we're going to start, just put down some notes here, is the diagnosis. I'm sorry, we're going to start with the physical symptoms. So I'm going to give you a few moments, and I simply want you to write down, and maybe there's nothing going on with you, but and that's fine too. If you feel vibrant and alive and whole, but if there's something going on with you, I want you to just write it down. The physical symptom of how, if you were talking to a doctor, and that's what you are. You're talking to your inner physician right now. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. Anything. So it can be around money, it can be about relationships, it can be physical, anything. So, and it could be that you're working with your inner therapist. So that's a good question. Okay. So just later, when you get home tonight or this weekend, I really want you to give this some more time. I just want to go make sure I go through all of it today. But just to briefly look at, like, as if you were talking to a doctor. That's all this is. So the second part is the cause. So what I want you to write down is the cause. I want you to just write down the general causes. And this is all in the workbook lessons also, for those of you who have done them already. It's, like lesson 163 and all these lessons about cure and sickness is that you need to accept the atonement for yourself. That's all that means, is that you're going to start to accept your wholeness. So the first cause of anything that seems to be going on with you, any difficulty you're experiencing, any problem, is a belief in separation. That you think you're a body. It's a belief that you're a body. It's a belief in your story. It's a belief in the form. And there's nothing wrong with this. You're not guilty for it. But it's an identification with yourself as a body. That you're somehow weak, you're separate. That's the overriding cause of anything that's not a feeling of absolute perfection. Now what I want you to do is I want you to find the cause that you think. So, and this is going to require stillness. Like, I truly believe that all sickness can be healed with stillness and listening. You're going to really ask, okay, what is really going on here? Why am I sick? So I'll just give you a few examples while you're writing. That it just could be that you're not being true to yourself. Are you being authentic? Are you being transparent? Are you doing the things that are coming to you to do? Or are you staying sort of hidden in your body because of fear? Do you feel supported? Do you feel grounded? What'd you say? So I would love if somebody would be bold enough to share what they have on their card and what they've come up with so far. Anybody? Oh, Laura, yes.
Microphone. Hi. So my first one is I have thyroid disease and thyroid disease, and I'm on medication. And
What is that exactly?
the thyroid, so that runs my entire body, like that runs your heart and everything, and it balances out your whole body. So when that's off, I know I've been told it's family inherited, so pretty much inherited on the physical form. But I know that for me, and I've done a lot of work on it spiritually, is that I am afraid to speak my truth And I've always been, I guess since I was even little, to speak my truth. So I would always talk a lot or talk louder, thinking that's my truth. And it's not the truth that I'm learning to speak now. Silence scares me. Quiet people scare me. When I'm looking at them, I can feel their energy moving through their head because I'm an empath, and it scares me. So when I feel that off of another human being, I'll start talking because I can't stand that quiet. And when I do speak my truth to people that aren't ready to hear any of that, unless they're in here or in AA, I've been shut down. Like, we don't want to hear your spirituality. We don't care. You know, just keep that. That's crazy. Don't say that. And because of that, I've learned to go within and find the truth. I just went on a spiritual cruise last week before last, and had amazing healings done on me. So that's...
You've said so many things, so I don't want to lose what you've said. So this is very good. Okay, so you said I have a thyroid problem, and then I asked you what that meant. I actually don't know. Right. So then what you said about it is actually very revealing. So I want everyone here to pay attention to how you describe or think about what you think is going on with you. So you said it's a balancing problem. There's your problem. You're off balance. So you begin to see that the way, so you might say, I have an eye problem, I can't see. Ha ha, whoa, I can't hear, okay. I can't, like whatever you're using as the words, and you have to, it's, you know, from the 40-day program, you're invited to watch yourself like a hawk. So what I invite everyone to do this week is to pay attention more closely than you've ever paid attention before to how you're talking about whatever you're feeling or going through or what you're thinking about it. Because even oftentimes we think just because I'm thinking it privately, no one knows and it's not affecting anything. No, it's affecting everything because the thought is creating your reality. So I thank you for that, and I love that you already have started to know what the solution is. Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's my throat chakra, which is, you know, your chakras, you know, the crown, the third eye, the throat. So I'm always trying to keep that open and always trying to send energy to it and open it too, because that's the throat and that's where my balance is off and that's where my voice is off. Not my voice, but my voice does go off when I get stressed or something, but it's my voice, my inner voice, that I have a hard time speaking the truth.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. And I'm actually going to put together, like Louise Hay's already done it. If you go online, you can already find out like what the physical symptom possibly represents. But like just quickly, from here down is things that are related to your experience in the world. The lower chakras have to do with your feeling of feeling safe and protected and grounded and secure. Just your relationships with your parents. So like it's like somewhere if it's a thing from here down, and then here is all your creativity, your power. Like if you feel like you have stomach problems, it typically is you're not coming into your own power. And then there's the heart. So the heart's the love space. You know, are you letting love in? Are you letting love out? And then from here up, the head space has to do with communication. Are you expressing yourself? Are you allowing yourself to be true to yourself? And you're not guilty for anything. And I absolutely encourage always everyone to keep doing whatever physical modalities you're doing. Like I truly believe in mind-body connection. But what I'm interested in is the mind part. And that's why, you know, it's so interesting in the 40-day program because some people take it to the extreme and they want to bail on all their medication and they want to bail on their doctors. And I never, ever suggest that. I always feel that whatever you're doing is self-love and self-care. Like if you're getting massages or you're going to healers and you're going to doctors and you're taking supplements or whatever you're doing on that level with your diet, keep doing it. But now we're working on the causal level, like what's really going on. So that's the next part is writing your own belief in what the cause is. And then the final part is the treatment. So you now, hello Chris, who just dropped in from heaven. Yeah, right? So on the second card, just a blank card, the way a doctor would write a prescription for you, I want you to write your own treatment plan for health and happiness. So it can just be one if you want, like a treatment for health or a treatment for happiness. I want you to write 5 things. You know, the doctor would say, okay, take this medication, get plenty of rest, drink lots of water. But I want you to come up, and you might not come up with them now, but I want you to just, in the stillness, you might want to close your eyes, to think of 5 things. So for Laura, one is to start being authentic and transparent and expressing yourself. So that would be one. It could be self-care. It could be something around how you're eating, how you're showing up in life. And you start to ask yourself some questions like, okay, what's going to bring you back to your center again? Because all sickness is nothing more than imbalance. So how are you going to get yourself back to that centered place in joy and love? And then just write those down. So this is a very daring exercise also, because it could be that you're doing things that you don't want to be doing. You could be in relationships that are unhappy. You could be doing things that are people-pleasing. Like there's just something in your life that's been off. And I want you to just look at it, and you're not going to try to fix it. You're not going to try to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do now. You're simply looking at, like, what is the real cause of that symptom, of that feeling. I often tell a story about this guy named Martin Brofman, who is my favorite healer of all time. He passed away last year, and he was diagnosed in 1972 with a spinal tumor in his throat, and he was given just a few weeks to live. And he knew, like, he'd heard this idea that he created it, and this is exactly what Jesus in A Course in Miracles says, is that you created whatever seems to be happening in your life. And a lot of people make themselves guilty about this, and that's not at all what he's saying. He doesn't want you to feel guilty that you've created a sickness in your life. He's just asking you to accept that you did it. And now you can undo it. That's where the power lies. You say, I did this. I caused this. No one did it to me. I'm not being punished by God. But now I'm listening. And so he knew, okay, I caused it. He didn't look at why or how. He just said, okay, like somewhere I'm off balance. And he made a decision. I love this story. And this is the next part that I'm going to invite you to do. So the doctor told him, you could die any minute. And I love that. I wish we would all live like that. You could die any minute. And you start to think about the people in your life could go also. You know, with Bill in the hospital, it was so interesting because he was going in for surgery and going way under. And people do just leave in these surgeries, you know. And so he put all his affairs in order this week. He transferred everything to me. He told me everything on the Teachers of God Foundation that I don't know on the financial side because I've never been involved in that. He called our accountant over who spent the whole day just making sure everything's in place if he goes. And it's been a totally miraculous week with Bill, like never, ever, ever before, because I was brought so back into the present moment of the preciousness of that we're here now together. Let's not miss these moments anymore thinking we have time. We don't have time. Like, are you paying attention to your life? And so with Martin Brofman, he realized every moment could be his last moment and every meal could be his last meal. And he said, with whatever remaining time I have left, I'm going to be happy. That's all. That was his treatment. With whatever remaining time I have left, I'm going to be happy. And he realized he was in an unhappy marriage. He was in an unhappy job working on Wall Street in New York City. And he knew that the tumor on his throat had to do with that he wasn't being himself. He wasn't expressing authentically. And he knew his healing required him to begin being himself. And he began to take these steps and make these changes. So you can't just think about them. You actually have to do it. So he left his job, he left his marriage, he began expressing himself authentically, and he lived for 40 more years. He didn't die. He went back, and he decided the time frame it would take him to heal. So he decided 2 months, because 2 months was the amount of time until his next doctor appointment. So he was working on himself every day, knowing, working with this infinite intelligence, that he was being healed. And he imagined, and this is what Jesus says in A Course in Miracles, to imagine the goal and that it's already happened. So he imagined the doctors sort of scratching his head after doing the tests and saying, I must have been wrong. And that's exactly what happened. He went there was no cancer, no nothing, tumor gone, and the doctor was just like, we must have been wrong. And then he spent the rest of his life teaching people how to heal. But the time factor depends on you. You could decide it's going to take an afternoon. You could just decide that, but oftentimes because of our belief system, that's too short of a period. Like that's just my experience with it. So you want to give yourself enough of a space where you can begin to make the changes in your mind and you begin to make them here. How are you going to start showing up differently? What's the message that the symptom has been showing you? And I'm just going to have one more thing, then we're going to open it up for discussion. Is Kimberly Cartwright yesterday said the most beautiful thing on one of our Living in Purpose calls. And she said this as a challenge. And so I'm going to offer it to you and to everyone listening. I was saying on the call, and then she got on to respond to what I said, is I have a belief that all sickness is nothing more than the light that wants to extend out and we're holding it in, and it turns inward on yourself and you get sick. That's my belief. My belief is that light is so powerful that it needs to flow. The love that you are needs to flow. And when you're not flowing it and extending it and you're containing it because of your fear that you're going to be judged or attacked or made fun of, or it's going to have consequences, whatever your fear is, you hold the light in. Because it's light, it has to do something, right? And it starts to go bad in you. It starts to break down your body. It starts to just make things sick. I could be totally wrong, but she got on the call. She goes, "Oh my God, that is exactly what I believe." And she has started to be so bold in her life. If you guys know Kimberly Cartwright, I encourage you to go find her on Facebook. She's doing some bold stuff right now. She's creating videos. And she said this is her fear point, to put herself out there and to start expressing herself. And you, Al, you're a perfect demonstration. You put yourself out there now. Like, you've stepped in, and you're somebody who's just like, okay, I'm not going to play small anymore. And that's a decision that we make here. So the challenge that she said to everyone on the call was that each one of us is always getting a message of something you're to do. And the challenge was to go do it. And that's the challenge that I give to each and every one of you. And it's because the messages start to come in the thought first. Make a phone call, do this, don't do that, like whatever it is you're getting to do. And we shut it down, right? We just think, oh, I don't need to make that phone call. And that's the light that's not being extended. It's like it's your cup runneth over. And so A Course in Miracles is a systematic way to remove the blocks and the obstacles to the awareness of love's presence. So when you're not doing that thing that's coming to you to do, that's you keeping the block in place. So the light's just sort of like, I gotta move. Love cannot be contained. It must be extended. And so that's my challenge to you. I want you to look at the ways you're not being authentic. I want you to look at the ways that you're doing things you don't want to do. I want you to really come into a space of honesty. And it's only with you. And to make a decision that you're going to start working with this infinite intelligence that is you, your inner physician, your inner guide, your inner teacher. And you're going to make spaces in your life for listening. That you're working now, I work with Jesus. That's what I call this infinite presence. And he's talking to me. And I never have seen him. I think I saw him once when I was 9. Somebody did show up in my the basement of the house I lived in. And it was a feeling of absolute love. But it's like that presence which you don't need to see it. You know it. And to begin to listen and to feel, and this is where, like, to me, I love standing up here right now and saying this, because I've been wanting to say this stuff for a long time, and I have been afraid. I have just been afraid that people are going to say, nobody's done that. And more, we have to start stepping in and being our authentic self, of speaking the truth that's coming to you, even if it's not spiritual, even if it's not in line with A Course in Miracles. Don't try to get it right. You just be you. So I thank you, and I want to open. We have like 15 more minutes. So I'd like to open this up for any comments, if anyone wants to share from their card, their own diagnosis or their own treatment. Gorgeous, Kelly.
Thank you. I love what you're saying. I'm not so much sharing from my own card, but this is so timely because I was meeting with one of my clients yesterday, and I'm a psychotherapist, holistic psychotherapist, and she came in and had been having a bout with pneumonia for 2 weeks. And we started talking about it, and she started to talk about dragging herself into work and pushing herself really hard and not allowing herself, she wasn't listening. And so what I said is, Spirit is talking to you, and it comes in the form of your thought first. And if you don't respond, then it's going to start talking to you through your body. And we picked up the Louise Hay book, the Heal Your Body A to Z. We looked up pneumonia, we looked up throat, lung, all of that. And it all said the same thing. And then she told me a story of way back when she was a baby and not being taken care of, sort of being neglected, and how her whole life she has pushed herself and not taken care of herself. So I just love what you're saying, because it's the same thing I was experiencing yesterday. So all minds are obviously joined, right? And that it's Spirit's always talking to us, and we're not listening, we're not tuned in, and so the next way that they start talking to us is knocking on the doors of the body. And if you don't catch it when it's something that can be, dealt with relatively easily, it's going to be something that's harder to deal with. So thank you so much. I love everything you said.
And I love too when I hear that she said to you, the first sentence, I'm dragging myself. Like even that alone, if you start listening to your experience of how you think and use your words, that's dragging is going to make you sick. Yeah. Like you really start to get into a space where you're listening so deeply, so clearly, and you realize, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. Right. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Or a question, comment?
No, not me. She wanted.
I love how you said you have to, I had to let a 23-year marriage go, and I had to let a 28-year career go, 6 years ago, because it was killing me. And it was that whole thing I came to, and it scared the bejesus out of me, letting all that go, because it was my identity. And then letting that go, I'm able to work with women in a 12-step program. And working with them, just what Kelly just said, I was with someone the other day, and they have to write, I've already done it through a work with my sponsor, and it's looking at a resentment of anybody and tracing it back all the way, looking back as far back. And just for example, one resentment could be my father didn't love me. I thought my father didn't love me, and you have to say, what is the thought you had? I'll use my own. I thought my mother didn't love me. And when I did my own, it helps for me to work with these people because it brings me back again. That's that voice again. That's my spirit talking to me through them now. And it's like, my mother didn't love me. I believed the lie that my mother didn't love me. I was the last of 6 kids. She acted like she couldn't stand us and couldn't stand me. And so that's the lie I told myself. And then the truth is, and this is very hard to come to in the beginning for the first 20 resentments, but after that, the other 180 you get to them, because there's 200 that I had. And the truth is, of course my mother loved me. She had me, I was her child, she loved me. The truth is, this is really hard to get to, the truth is no one in this world can love me right. There is not a human being that can give me the love I need, whether it's my mother or anybody. And then if I take it even one step further, I think that God doesn't love me. I think I'm separated away from my source. And then how do you act out? What are your self-seeking behaviors? You know, I drank at it, I drugged at it, I character assassinated her, I was angry. And then the fear of people's opinions, fear of not being loved, fear of losing what I have. That's just one resentment. But it goes all the way back. And when we're forced to do this work to stay recovered, I could see the way I dealt with stuff when I was 5 was how I was dealing with stuff when I was 50. So that stuff had carried through every single person, where it brings it to the Course in Miracles, where whatever you're looking at in front of you has nothing to do with what you're looking at in front of you. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much. You know, and to me, can be very important to go back to the childhood, to really look at where did this start? Where can I remember where it started? And what was the feeling? And Rupert Spiro said this great thing that Bill told me about. He said that whenever you have some difficulty or sickness or problem, he said, go beyond the label and stay and be aware of the sensation. And that's important, because we often have a label for the thing. It's a thyroid, it's a cancer, it's a tumor, it's a pain, but go beyond the label and just be aware of the sensation with no story. And I love Workbook lesson 136, sickness is a defense against the truth. Yes.
What lesson don't you love?
Oh, ha! That is hilarious. It's my favorite lesson. Lesson 136, my favorite. Oh, wait, 137. It's the best. That's hilarious. So it says, sickness is a defense against the truth. Anything that seems to be going on with you is nothing more than your own defense that you put in place to keep the truth from the awareness of your mind. You are whole, you are complete, you are perfect, you are the Christ shining in the reflection of God's love. That is the truth of what you are. And it's time for you to start being that. And so what it says here is, I will accept the truth of what I am, and let my mind be wholly healed today. And what it says at the end of this lesson is that this is a protection. And this protection must be guarded carefully through the day, because you're going to keep falling off. I always fall off. Right down that hole I go. And I know it immediately by the way I feel. It doesn't feel good when you're off center. You start feeling, resentments and tired and sick. 5 minutes. I'm going to pass it to you. Didn't you have your hand up? No. You look cute as can be, by the way, with your hair all short. Love it. She's just like her mom. She's gorgeous like her mom.
This is a very timely meeting for me. I can't finish. Okay.
You said it's a very timely.
My dad just passed away.
Yes.
So 68 years. But I just can't express how much I've gained by listening to you. And this has been a tremendous help. And this little gem here, she's been very helpful and supportive to me at this time. And I appreciate it. And I love her.
Well, Trinity is our little gem here in the world, her and Will, and she's been talking about you. She's been coming to me every week and telling me about you. And when you walked in today, I can't express the gratitude I feel for you showing up in this way. And it's a big deal when we lose someone we love that we've been with for so long. Yep. That's a long time. Yep.
But this is something that, like you said, about accepting things.
Mm-hmm.
That's been my whole life. I've always accepted situations and not dwelled on them.
Mm-hmm.
I found that was really, really helpful to me.
Yep.
And especially at this time.
Yes. Well, we're very grateful you're here, and we hope you come back. So if we can all join in a circle, we close in prayer. And if anybody would like to make a contribution, we have a donation box in the back here. It helps us to pay for this space. It helps for all the programs at the Teachers of God Foundation. We're very grateful for your contributions and your generosity. And we will bless the ties. So as we remember, everything that we have is that we now begin to have the courage to let it flow. And we say the unity prayer, divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So we close in prayer, closing your eyes. I want you to feel where your feet are. I want you to really be in your body now. I don't want you to try to escape from your experiences. I don't want you to try to escape from the feelings that you're having. Even if they're uncomfortable, I ask for you to be totally in your body. And I always want you to pay attention to where your feet are. Whenever you're having a problem, just ask yourself, where are my feet? And where your feet are is where God is. God is right in the space where you are. I always want you to remember that. And I want you to remember that you're always in the right place, because wherever your feet are is where you're supposed to be. Often we think we're in the wrong place and we should be doing something different. But now the healing is to bring ourselves so fully back into the present moment where we are, remembering who we are and who walks with us. And so, Father, we give thanks that we are joined together. Just give a squeeze to the hand next to you, that we are joined together, mighty companions here in this world, and that we're here to shine the light that we are. And your love surrounds us, it protects us, it keeps us safe, and it's showing us the way. It's lighting the path before us, so we always know where to go. We only have to take one step in trust. And now everything that we need is coming to us. And this infinite intelligence is healing everything, removing the darkness, removing all sickness, as we come into the awareness of our authentic, true self, the light of God that we are. And for this we give thanks, and we say amen. Amen. Love you guys.
Powerful.
Peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in the peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God is shining.